He's to midfield, and they'll never catch him. Denard Robinson, shoelaces flopping in the wind.
Everyone understanding that this isn't about a coach, this isn't about a single player. It's about Michigan.
Welcome to week 2 of Varsity Blue. Adam Brewster, Kevin Twill, David Now's with you once again. Michigan, one of the most exciting finishes ever.
Between the night game, Desmond Howard being honored, and Notre Dame, you knew there was going to be a little bit of magic.
A ton of excitement, but don't believe the hype quite yet.
The game's been able to sink in now for like over 48 hours. Upon further review, we've got some issues we want to discuss. We got a special guest coming up later. We got to talk to some of the college game day folks. Busy half hour, so let's get right into the highlights. Of course, it was a legacy game. Michigan, Notre Dame wearing those jerseys. Even the refs, look at the cap that ref has on. SEC pom-poms galore. The students loved it. Everybody loved the pom-poms. And there's Des. Oh, look at that smile. Des being honored. The first Michigan legend to be honored. There was a football game to be played too. Sierra Woods, first play from scrimmage for Notre Dame. That one goes for 11 yards. A couple plays later, Tommy Rees hooks up with Michael Floyd for the first of 13 catches on the day for Michael Floyd. A few plays later, Notre Dame knocking on the door. There's Sierra Wood, 11-yard carry there. And 3rd and goal, Theo Riddick, a touchdown. Notre Dame up 7-0 early. Michigan goes 3 and out again. And here's Reese. He hits Jonas Gray out of the backfield. That will go for 15 yards. Notre Dame moving the ball well. Next play, Michael Floyd once again. 13 catches, 159 yards on the day for Floyd. That one goes for 14. 2 plays later, from 4 yards out, Sierra Wood punches it in. 14-0 Notre Dame very early on. Next Michigan drive. Denard Robinson has his ball batted down the line. Gary Gray picks it up. Denard Robinson's first interception of the day. Michigan struggling early on. Couple Notre Dame possessions later. Tommy Reese's pass picked off right there by Jordan Kovacs. And just 2 plays after that, Denard Robinson, all kinds of time in the pocket, steps back, looks towards the end zone. Junior Hemingway, great ball skills. He gets into the end zone. Erin Andrews may have gotten in the way of him getting in the end zone. Trust us, folks, he got in. Michigan now within 7. Next Notre Dame drive, though. Sierra Wood, 22-yard rush right here. He had over 140 yards on the ground on the day. But this drive would end in a Michigan turnover. JT Floyd intercepts the ball on the goal line. Notre Dame would add a field goal, and that would do it for the first half. 17-7 going into halftime, and halftime was crazy. There was a techno rave. There were light-up dancers. It was just like tradition was thrown aside, and there was a paratrooper. The fans loved the paratrooper.
It was a little nerve-wracking, though. He didn't come down for like 2 or 3 minutes after the band was done.
First play of scrimmage for Michigan after the half. Notre Dame went 3 out to start. Denard Robinson, 39 yards. I will not be stopped. It takes about the whole Notre Dame defense to take Denard down, but that drive would go nowhere. Next Notre Dame drive, Jonas Gray right here, 38-yard rush. He had 68 yards on the ground on the day. But 2 plays later, Notre Dame, they had a lot of turnovers last week. They had a lot of turnovers this week. 5 this week. Sierra Wood fumbles the ball there, and Big Will Campbell comes up with the fumble recovery. And next Michigan drive, Denard Robinson making a very, very costly mistake, looking for a wide open Jeremy Gallon. Zeke Mata picks the ball off, underthrown there. And next Notre Dame drive, here's Sierra Wood, 24 yards, making all kinds of great cuts. That counter was great all day for the Irish, and then Notre Dame down near the goal line. Reese hits TJ Jones. Jones tiptoes his way along the sideline into the end zone for a touchdown. Michigan down 24-7, 4th quarter approaching. And Denard Robinson steps back, looks for his main man, Junior Hemingway runs around, avoids a tackle, is being dragged down when he hits Hemingway. And Junior Hemingway looks like he's got all kinds of room. Hemingway near the goal line, and he's just a little bit too slow, shoved out of bounds. A couple plays later, chaos here. What happened is Stephen Hopkins fumbled the ball. It basically ended up at Denard's feet. He picked it up, and Michigan scores. And then Michigan now is within 10, 24-14 Notre Dame. A lot of chaos down near the goal line there. A very lucky touchdown for Michigan Wolverines. They force a turnover and downs from Notre Dame on the next possession. John McColgan, the fullback. When was the last time you heard of Michigan having a fullback? It's been a few years. That one good for 15 yards. Next play, Denard Robinson keeps the ball himself. 13-yard gain down to the Notre Dame 17. And then on 2nd and 7, Denard steps back and looks for Jeremy Gallen. Gallen, a huge day, catches the ball in the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. They are within 3. On the ensuing kickoff, Theo Riddick gets the return, and he gets a pretty good return here. Theo Riddick takes the ball 22 yards up to the Michigan 40, and he's stopped by Matt Weil, one of the best open field tackles on the day. Michigan crowd fired up now. It's 3rd and 15 for Notre Dame. You can see the pom-poms going. The crowd was going absolutely nuts, trying to get their team to be able to stop Notre Dame on 3rd and 15, but Reese completes that pass there, 22 yards. A couple of plays later, Notre Dame down near the goal line. Tommy Reese forgets the ball. Threw the ball, it came out of his hand before he started going forward. Michigan on the 2-yard line comes up with a huge play. Denard Robinson now steps back, looks, hits Junior Hemingway, goes up into double coverage, a 45-yard catch there. But just 2 plays later, Denard getting a little greedy, looking towards the end zone. With 4:23 to go, that ball is picked off at the goal line. Fans kind of feeling crushed. It's 3rd and 2. There's about 2 minutes to go, and big Jake Ryan comes up with a huge stop for the Michigan Wolverines there. Next drive, Denard, Calvin Grady, his first catch of the day. That one goes for 27 yards, and he's forced out of bounds. Following play, watch Vincent Smith, number 2 right there. You just saw him flash across your screen. Denard hits him out of the backfield. He's very good out of the backfield, makes a few great shifts. He's little, he's hard to tackle. He scores. Michigan up 28-24 with just over a minute to go. You think this one's over, right? The Army, the ROTC people, they love it. On the eve of 9/11, getting to see a good game. And then Reese steps back, hits that one good for 12 yards. A couple plays later, just a breaking coverage on 3rd and 6. Theo Riddick, wide open, no one around. 30 seconds left, Michigan Stadium, dead silent. Until this play, Denard steps back, rolls out to his right, hits Jeremy Gallen, a total breaking coverage. Gallen running laterally across the field, has the presence of mind to get out of bounds at the 16-yard line with 8 seconds to go. 8 seconds to go. Are you going to take a shot at the end zone with the way Denard's throwing the ball? Yes, you are. Roy Roundtree for the touchdown. Michigan up by 4 with 2 seconds to go. They would need to kick the ball off. It was a squib kick. Notre Dame had all sorts of trouble fielding it. Michigan actually almost scored off this kickoff. It doesn't matter, folks. Michigan wins 35-31, a thriller with 2 seconds to go. What a win. The team goes to the student section, and here we are. Jake Long and Craig Rowe. Craig Rowe absent from the game, but made his way into the highlights with that chest bump right there. Wow.
Take a deep breath, Adam.
Yeah, that was 6.5 minutes of fun right there. But guys, we got to get into something important real quick. Denard completed less than 30% of his passes through the first 3 quarters. He completed 70 in the 4th. He turned the ball over late on an underthrown ball towards the end zone. If Jeremy Gallen's not wide open on that second play from scrimmage with about 22 seconds to go, Michigan probably doesn't have a shot of winning this game. So I turn to both of you. David, I start with you. Clutch or lucky?
I'm going to say clutch, and maybe that's the Michigan fan in me, but the entire 4th quarter, Denard Robinson was able to make things happen for the Wolverines. In the first 3 quarters, he wasn't. Now, maybe that's a product of finally getting used to playing a good defense in Notre Dame, or at least, one of a decent caliber. But I really think Denard Robinson started to settle in the 4th quarter, seemed much more comfortable with his receivers. I'm going to say it was clutch, and I think he's going to progress from here on out for the rest of the season.
I got to agree with you here, David. Definitely clutch. Notre Dame moved the ball at will, but when they needed to, Michigan got the turnovers on Reese in the red zone, and then when Denard needed it, he came through and threw some great touchdown passes towards the end.
So you guys both say clutch. A little bit of luck, definitely, though, involved there. But Denard Robinson, he won Big Ten Player of the Week, as well as a couple National Players of the Week from Rivals.com. They had him Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week as well. In the first half, 7 rushes for 43 yards. He was 2 of 9 passing for only 48 yards, a touchdown and an interception. In the second half, 9 rushes for almost 80, 9 for 13 passing for almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. Is that worthy of winning 3 separate Offensive Player of the Week accolades?
Absolutely not. As I said, he had a great fourth quarter. His first 3 quarters were absolutely terrible. Denard Robinson went 4 for 14 in those. That's under 30% completion percentage. I just don't think he was very good.
Twill?
They stacked the box, forced Denard to throw, and through the first 3 quarters, he couldn't beat Notre Dame, but through some lucky jump balls in the fourth quarter, they came back and scored some touchdowns.
Now, obviously, the talk all offseason, how would this defense, which was pitiful last year, that's the only way you can describe it. They allowed over 500 yards of offense, Kevin. Tommy Rees had a few issues holding on to the ball, but Michigan did allow a big 3rd and 15 that you saw in the highlights at a key point in the game. They forced 5 turnovers. They came up with a stop late. What are your thoughts on this defense now 2 weeks in?
I think you have to be impressed. Compared to the last couple of years under the Rich Rod system, you can see that big stop on 3rd and 1. And Jake Ryan made a big play. You didn't see that in the last couple of years. Plus, you see the J.T. Floyd alone on an island on Michael Floyd all night, got a key deflection and a key interception.
And David, we established last week that Kevin, as a Michigan fan, doesn't matter. He's from New Jersey. He's a Michigan fan for 3 hours. We're just kidding. We love Kevin. But you've grown up in this area. We've seen some games, 2005 Penn State, 2004 Michigan State. Those come to mind. Where does this stand? Last 2 years against Notre Dame, 08 against Wisconsin. Where do you put this?
This ranks right up there with me. I think it's probably the best game just because it was one I was at. Very exciting. It was certainly better than the 2 Notre Dame games previously. I like the Wisconsin game in 08 as well, though. That was just an incredible comeback. I would say for me, those 2 are right up there.
Now, I'm going to weigh in on this as well, and I'm going to say this had to be number 1. With the night game and everything surrounding it, it was too cool. And the way it ended was great. We see, though, that there are some issues still. Now, staying on the same note, but switching a little bit, College Game Day was in Ann Arbor this weekend. On Friday, David, Kevin, and myself were able to talk to Erin Andrews, Kirk Herbstreit, and Desmond Howard. We filed this report.
Big weekend here on the campus of the University of Michigan as Notre Dame comes to the Big House for the first game under the lights. As you can see, College Game Day right behind us. We got a chance to talk to Erin Andrews, Kirk Herbstreit, and Desmond Howard.
I can't wait. I think, first of all, it's hilarious that it's the first night game, and there's so much into having a night game because that's all we work, our night games, and you just don't think, really, could this really be the first one?
Well, I think the key will be to minimize turnovers, both teams, and the defense. I think that both offenses can move the ball very well. You know, when you watched Notre Dame play last week, there were a bunch of self-inflicted wounds. It's not like they didn't move the ball; they just shot themselves in the foot in the red zone a lot. So, I think that with Coach Al Borges and what he's bringing to the Wolverines offense, that they seem like they are getting more comfortable with that system, and they're going to be able to move the ball too. So I think it's going to come down to, not turning the ball over and which defense can impose his will on another team's offense.
And even with all the hype and hoopla surrounding this week's game, Game Day's Kirk Herbstreit could not escape the questions about the rivalry of his own, Michigan-Ohio State.
The funny thing about Ohio State Michigan is their fans hate each other, but the former players, there's a respect, I think, with Ohio State and Michigan players because they're so similar in the type of people that they are, and there's such a respect for that rivalry.
Obviously a great weekend for Michigan football. It'll be very interesting to see how this game plays out. Great to see Desmond Howard being honored under the lights this weekend. For WOLV-TV, David Nowes.
It was an exciting day. My friend had a Who's Your Daddy sign that just got a ton of play all over Game Day. So that was a lot of fun. But Kevin, how big is Game Day for a program?
Huge. Between Game Day and having a night game live on ESPN, for recruiting, as well as just an overall positive vibe from the program. Under the last regime, there's a lot of negatives. This year, coming back with some positive, a big win under the lights, plus Game Day coming to Ann Arbor is huge.
David, Desmond Howard being honored, put that into a little perspective and maybe touch on who else we might see next.
Well, I think it was absolutely essential that Desmond Howard get honored like this, and I think there's a few more players. Charles Woodson, Anthony Carter come to mind first and foremost, and then there will be a few more down the road, Jake Long, maybe a few others. But with only 3 numbers retired at Michigan and all of them being, pre-1950, this is something that needed to be done. I think Dave Brandon had a vision of doing this, and it really seems like it's good for the program.
Certainly was. A couple other notes on game day. Erin Andrews, you were wrong. We were loud. I know you apologized, but just wanted to say that. Also, Kirk Herbstreit, a Michigan fan, in the sense that, he likes Michigan. He cheers for Michigan when obviously he's not calling games. We got to take it to commercial break. When we come back, Andy Goddeeris, WCBN Sports Director, will be joining us. We'll be right back on Varsity Blue.